Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. On this video, I've got posts from Relationship Advice, Am I the A-Hole, and Malicious Compliance. So if you want to get started with the stories, then just use the timestamps below the video. Now, I'd like to thank all of you that support me, either as YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, or when you donate during the live streams. Your support means a lot to me, so thank you. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's from user Intern Tossaway. I'm a senior at a major university doing an internship in my field. It was going great, but... So I, female 22, am working through an internship with a man, mid-50s, let's call him Evan. He's great. Everything I do is related to real work in my field. No making coffee, answering phones, sweeping, etc. There is some repetitive mind-numbing work to do, but that's part of the job. If I don't do it, Evan does. It's all good experience. He asks my opinion on things and has incorporated a few of my ideas. If not, he explains why my suggestion would not work. He doesn't talk too much, doesn't talk too little, never asks me probing questions or says anything even mildly inappropriate. He doesn't give me that look that some men can't hide. We wear masks and distance appropriately. He's been nothing but professional and kind and is a great mentor. The problem started with my boyfriend, who we'll call Jake, 22 male. He started referring to Evan as a dirty old man and says things like, "He might not be saying it, but you know he's thinking about you naked," and "he's probably jerking it to you right now," and other disgusting things. I told him off and tried to set the record straight and shut it down. But last week, Jake had a few friends over, and when I went into the living room, one of them asked me, "So, how's the old perv?" I said, "Huh?" He said, "The dirty old man you're interning with." So Jake had started some kind of rumor that there is something inappropriate going on. Well, word got back to the department administrator overseeing the internship program that I was being sexually harassed by my mentor. I was immediately called in for an emergency meeting with her and the department head. I explained the situation to them, and at first they were skeptical, suggesting I was lying and covering for Evan, but eventually accepted that there was nothing going on. The admin said Evan has taken interns, male and female, from the department for 5 or 6 years, and there have only been compliments about the way he treats people. As far as I know, this hasn't filtered back to Evan, but we're meeting via speakerphone with him on Tuesday, and I will have to tell him. What do I say? How do I fix this? I don't want my internship to end this way. I don't want his reputation dragged through the mud. And what do I do about my boyfriend? I'm really pissed at him. OP, in my opinion, there's two different things that you need to address regarding your situation. The first is being absolutely open and honest with Evan and let him know everything that's been going on. What your boyfriend did, how the rumor spread, the meeting with the department head, and everything that you've done and said regarding this situation. Hopefully your idiotic boyfriend has not messed up your internship in a way that it might end. So I would definitely do some damage control there. The second thing I would do is address the boyfriend situation. And I would go as far as say, remove the boyfriend. Here's a guy that's apparently so insecure that he's willing to jeopardize your future because of a rumor that he started, based on absolutely nothing, something that you've been constantly shutting down and by your own words have said that Evan is nothing but professional, kind, and a great mentor. Like I said, this can hurt your future and of course derail Evan's professional career. OP, your boyfriend, apart from being a gigantic idiot, clearly has issues that you cannot help fix. So I think it is in your best interest to move forward without him and just focus all your energy on your internship. And what do you guys think? What should OP do? Let me know in the comment section what your recommendation would be for OP, and in the meantime, let's move on with the community comments to see their suggestions. Internal Wedgie says, dump Jake. Dump his profession sabotaging, insecurity projecting, stupid petty little ass. Dump that mother effer already. And when you must meet with HR, let them know your boyfriend turned out to be abusive, tried to sabotage your career, because sabotage is abuse, and you have kicked his jerk ass to the curb. Apologize to Evan for the trouble Jake caused, and give high praise to Evan's mentorship so the company will back off. Misplaced24 says, I hope you realize your boyfriend just sabotaged your career and is likely to do it again in the future. You just tell your mentor what happened, that your boyfriend is an insecure, childish person, and that you're sorry his integrity was called into question over it. It's not your fault at all, but this man's reputation may have been ruined. Soul Rebel 726 says, your boyfriend sounds like a jealous man-child. I feel like this is an indication about how he will behave in future instances of you working even remotely closely with another man. I always hate the dump him and move on response as it seems too common much of the time, but I'll say this, you need to have a serious conversation with him about his behavior. If he doesn't change and admit his fault here, leave. Don't let that guy ruin a career. As for Evan, I imagine he has some idea what is going on. If they called you in for a meeting, they probably spoke to him at some point too. I guess I'd say take the same approach you did in your meeting. Apologize for the situation profusely and tell him that he's a great mentor and you would hate for your immature boyfriend to ruin that, and you will be speaking with him about it. Well, clearly the community thinks that the boyfriend is a moron and that OP needs to do damage control and also let go of the boyfriend. Now on this case we have an update, so let's continue with that to see what happened after this. I broke up with Jake, which was logistically a bit of an issue, but this incident made me realize what a toxic bro he is and has been. We had the conference call with my mentor, Evan, and he was somewhat taken aback. He owns his own business in non-profit communications, and about 75% of his clients are youngish progressive women. A rumor like this could destroy him, he said. After making sure the internship administrator knew there had been no bad behavior on his part, he decided the best thing to do was to hang up the phone call and talk again in 10 minutes. He needed time to think, he said. He called back and said he wants me to continue the internship because I do good work and because if I left before the semester is over, it would play into the theory gossip that there had been misconduct. He told the admin that we would let this ride for now, but if word got out and it began to affect his business, he would have to ask the university for some kind of memo explaining the issue. He is also going to have to think about having interns in the future. He said he left a good job at a PR firm to go out alone and give non-profits PR support they could not otherwise afford, and he worked long hours for little money and no benefits for years before he was solvent. And he can't let anything mess that up. So I guess this is a happy update. I feel good away from Jake and his testosterone circle. My internship is ongoing. Thanks everyone who replied. Well OP, good for you that you're continuing the internship and that you dropped the idiot. But I don't agree with you that this is a happy update. I think it would be sad that Evan, who apparently is such a great mentor and professional, would stop doing internships because of what your idiotic boyfriend did. Yeah, great for you, you get to finish yours, but what about future students? They are gonna miss out on an awesome opportunity just like you've had because of what your boyfriend did. So hopefully this whole rumor thing is going to stop and Evan will continue to accept interns. And on that note, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's from user NotaCat19. Am I the a-hole for refusing to make my son cut his hair to be in my brother's wedding? Bear with, this is my first post. My 15-year-old son was asked in January to be the flower dude in my brother's wedding, which will be end of this month. Since then, my soon-to-be sister-in-law has made frequent comments to my son along the lines of, "So, what are we going to do about his hair? He has thick curly hair that's been growing out for a little while now. He's got a gold photo we've been showing to his hairdresser." A couple weeks ago, I texted my brother to let him know that we will groom and style his hair and use product to tame it, but I was not going to make him cut his hair. At that time, my brother said that was fine. Then he told me his fiance wants to take my son to her hairdresser for a trial run on his hairstyle. Side note, Won't go into the entire history, but I've had issues with her need to dictate and control, including one time she told my brother he couldn't accompany my son to the ER for stitches unless she could go too. I told him I'd make sure we did the trial run on my son's hair. He then wrote that fiancé wanted final approval. I said I'd make sure he would look nice on their wedding day. Then, a few days ago, my stepfather wrote my son, telling him he would not be getting fitted for his tux until his hair was cut. His exact words were, "No decent haircut, no tuxedo fitting. You will not be in the wedding but seated in the general audience with your family. That is the result of no haircut. Got it?" My mother is also firmly on the haircut side. She feels I should have my son cut off his hair because it's a very formal wedding, and claimed we should have known that was the rule from the beginning. I finally texted her back and stated had we been told that was a condition of being in the wedding, my son could have declined then. Instead, he was subjected to several months of passive-aggressive remarks until I finally addressed it. So now it's really blown up. At this point, we aren't even going because to me, kicking family out of a wedding party for refusing to alter his appearance when he has had this hair for years is ridiculous. My family thinks I'm unreasonable for not forcing my son to cut his hair. Am I the a-hole? I don't want to ruin my brother's wedding, and right now it seems like not attending is the best way to avoid additional drama. I'm obviously very close to the situation and so don't know if other people, ones I'm not related to, actually do think it's reasonable to make another person's child cut their hair. OP, I don't think you're the a-hole, and if they don't like your son's hair, they can find another flower dude. Without being specific about it, you've mentioned that you've had issues with her in the past regarding her controlling behavior, so I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that she's being a bridezilla. What I don't understand, and maybe I'm wrong here, is that role of the flower dude or flower girl or whatever is not a key role for a wedding. So if your son doesn't want to cut his hair and that means he can't be the flower dude, I would assume everybody's like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. We'll find somebody else or we won't have somebody toss petals on the floor. What I don't understand is your stepfather and your mom's approach and opinion on this thing. It is a very formal wedding, and what does that have to do with your son's hair? It's not like he's gonna be wearing jeans and a t-shirt or anything like that. I do think it would be sad that you would miss your brother's wedding because of this whole hair thing. So I do hope you guys get to work that out. So what do you guys think? What is your judgment on this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they had to say. Cool Right says, not the a-hole. Bridezilla needs to get over herself. I wouldn't go to the wedding either. This is a very ridiculous situation. If I had a nephew I loved, I'd want him in my wedding regardless of what he looked like. Poor kid, tell him his hair is awesome. OP responds, thanks. I hate that it's turned into this, but I felt pretty piled on once my parents got involved. His hair looks gorgeous when he has curls enhancing product on it. Active Lurker 777 says, it doesn't matter what your parents say. What does your brother say? OP responds, the past few weeks when we texted about it, he initially said it didn't have to be cut. They wanted a formal look, which is totally cool. Trimming and product make it look very nice. But then when I kept asking when he was supposed to get fitted for his tux, he wouldn't reply, and had my mother get hold of me and tell me she would let me know when and where to get him fitted. Then, a few days later came the message from my stepdad. Laid ADFC says, not the a-hole. Forcing children to have their hair cut against their will is a form of abuse. Anyone supporting this does not have your child's best intentions at heart and are coming from a place of selfishness. Remember, a wedding is one of the most important events of a person's life. For them. For everyone else, it's just another pain in the ass. So the community agrees. OP is not the a-hole and nobody should try to be forcing their son to cut his hair. So on that note, let's continue with the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's from user JACrime. No, I'm checking your heart. I was a medic in Salt Lake for a few years. One rainy day, my partner and I got dispatched to a fairly upscale neighborhood on a call of chest pain. Chest pain means flashing lights and sirens. We quickly arrive in front of a pretty nice house and find a woman standing at the curb with 2 suitcases packed. Already a red flag. I shut down the siren but kept the lights going for safety. We ask if she called 911 and she confirms. She steps into the ambulance, sits on the bench and asks us to get going. I tell her we need to do a full workup before we leave so we can provide care en route and take her to the right facility. She says she doesn't really have chest pain. She has a procedure scheduled at the hospital and she wants me to turn off the flashing lights so her neighbors don't notice and ask her questions. Obviously, this is EMS abuse, and I tell her so. Suddenly, her chest pain is back. So I say I need to get vitals and start an ECG. She protests again, mentioning the start time for her appointment in less than 30 minutes. And so I ask her point blank, do you need medical attention or do we need the police? I proceeded to do a full workup in front of her house, taking my sweet ass time, asking enough questions to make her eyes roll, and leaving the strobe lights on the whole time so the neighbors would see. And she was late to her appointment because we admitted her to the hospital through the ER instead of the front doors. Oh wow, honestly, why couldn't she take a taxi or have somebody drive her to the hospital? She had to call 911 to try to get an ambulance there to get to the hospital? That is just ridiculous. OP should have called the cops. What if somebody actually had a problem right at that moment and they needed OP somewhere else and something bad would have happened? What would you have done if you were in OP's shoes? Called the cops right away? Or done what OP did and waste her time so she would miss her appointment? Let me know in the comment section. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.